All right, hello everyone. This is Tom Kelly here. I'm joined as always by Cal Eldred. All right, hello everyone.
Cool.
This is Tom
Hey guys.
Kelly here. I'm joined as always by, and I didn't mute my stream. Whoops. Okay, it's muted now. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Hey guys. Welcome to OCS Review episode number 2.
All right, so let's. So how you doing, Cal?
Doing well. Had a pretty good week. It's been pretty snowy here in Michigan, but we warmed up the last couple of days.
Oh, really? It was in the
All the
80s
snow melting.
earlier this week here in Santa Clara, San Jose. So I do not know that feel. Anyway, lots happened since we were last with you. We're now 2 weeks, just about a little bit more than halfway into the league, the 15th of February today. And let's take a look at what's happened in the standings. I've got the scoreboard called up here, and we see actually the same top two as last week. Brother Justin and Tom, except they've switched positions. Now they haven't played any games. Do you want to explain how that happened?
Yeah, so I briefly mentioned this on the show last week, but the opponent's win percentage stat isn't static. As your opponents keep playing games and winning or losing, change what your opponent's win percentage will be. So your tiebreakers will go up and down as people keep playing more games.
So the players,
it's similar to a regular tournament, how your strength of schedule changes as you play more rounds. It's just that you can finish your rounds without all your opponents having finished theirs. So your rank can still change even after you've finished all your games.
So the players that Brother Just had played earlier in the event must have been more successful recently than the players Tom played.
Yeah, exactly.
Over this past week. Okay, but
Tom was up by about 3% in his opponent win percentage, and now they're virtually tied with 0.06%. I think that's less than a game difference. So any individual game that could be played now could swap the leaderboard, which is kind of interesting.
But speaking of the leaderboard, there are some more threats. I think the next three names in this list are really probably
these are our contenders.
Now are the threats to take it. We've got Justin Desai, All Stars 97, who's pretty much is a play-in at this point with his win percentage. Even if he loses, so right now Tom and Brother Just are both 10-2. Justin Desai is 10-1. So if he wins, he'll jump up ahead of both these two. But if he loses, he's still presumably is going to have them on tiebreakers.
Yeah, and I know we covered this last week. Just to clarify, you get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a loss. So that's how we're figuring out the records from the points here.
Right. So Justin Desai and Chris Kelly both with 11 games played and 31 points. If either of them win, they'll jump up to 34 and have first place, at least for the moment. Meanwhile, number 5 here, our guest last week, Steve Salucci, No Limit, is currently
he won 3 more games.
10-0. He was 7-0 last week, so he's won 3 this past week. He just needs to win 2 more.
It's like game every other day. That's probably a good way to do it.
Yeah, when you only need to play 12 games in a season, and I mean, this month, of course, being the shortest of all of them, it's 10% shorter than your average month. Yeah. So this is the hardest month to get the 12 in, but it seems like many players have been able to do so.
Yeah, and so I expect a lot of players will continue to do that. We're only halfway through. So
yeah, so Steve Salucci still as much of a threat as before, and
yeah, I mean he's 10-0, so and with last 2, he's still right there up there in the mix with Brother Justin and Tom, and he completely controls his own destiny. If he wins out, he's just got first place locked up.
Right.
If he loses 1, to be in that case, Desai and Chris Kelly would both have to win their last games, and Chris Kelly's opponent win percentage would have to go up substantially.
Right. Yeah. Chris Kelly of the 3 other contenders has the weakest opponent win percentage, not by a ton.
Not by a ton, but we're not going to see 3% changes like we were before. I think there are just less games left to be played right
Yeah,
now.
but also the fact that in order to go 11-1, Steve Salucci would have to lose a game. Does that have how big of an effect on the opponent win percentage is that, or is that negligible when we're talking about a 12?
I think it's not negligible. It's like a point. It's probably something close to like 8% increase or something like that. 7% increase.
Okay, that's not nothing.
Yeah, I mean it's
Anyway,
not going to like determine anything, but assuming your opponent's played 144 games, it'll be like one of those 144 games. So it'll be on the order of 1% increase if you lose a game.
just scanning to look at some other threats here.
The big one is Bastion.
Bastion,
Bastion's
yep, I was about to mention.
one loss,
Bastion 8 and
9
1.
games played.
Yeah, he lost the very first game of the entire event, and since then has won 8 in a row.
Yeah, I was watching that game. I think he was playing Diplomatic Mission to Alderaan, and I think he had some unfortunate luck, and he got beaten.
Yeah, and undefeated. The big one to mention, I think, is Matt HT. Is still
Yes.
Probably our other threat. He's got to play more games in the second half of the month than he does in the first. But so
yeah,
far,
I mean, there's a number of players down there undefeated. I didn't see there.
Yeah, that's true. Dutch Vader and Aglet's both.
Yeah, good old our rules advocate.
Right. Yeah, and see if they can
Too.
keep it up. I mean, I focus on Matt HT, of course, not to, you know, say anything about these other two, but Matt HT, of course, a proven tournament player with, much success under his belt. So let's see if he can keep this success going in his really first kind of event.
Yeah, let's see if he can play something other than IE.
Well, you don't need to. Not in this.
Well, I mean, for light side.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if he's played any light side games yet.
I've seen him play a light side game and win with that, and we'll be having Matt HT on later in the show, and we'll talk to him about his experience so far. I think our players who haven't played yet, most likely, although there's some threatening names down here, probably we're not going to see them this month. We've you said that you had some word from Emil about his plans.
Yeah, I heard that ML said he was really busy at the moment, but he was going to try and get some games in after the Euro NPC, which is running this weekend.
Yeah,
I think he was confident he'll be able to get all 12 of his games in.
So good luck to our European players playing in a live event this weekend. Is it in Bochum? Do you know?
That rings a bell. I can check in 1 second.
Yeah, Bochum, of course, is the.
Yeah, it is in. No, actually, it's in Hanover. So it's still in Germany, but it's in a different city.
Yeah.
European Championships, which are being played later this year, are in Bochum.
Yeah, they're in Bochum every year, and I think that's the location that the Worlds 2020 is going to be. So
yeah.
I've gone there.
Is it 2020 or 2019?
Maybe it's 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is 2019. So yeah, I went there for the European Championships, and it was a fantastic venue and a great event. So good luck to all the players, and Emil. Who else do we have that's going to be? Kuhn, I think, is probably going to be there. I don't actually know. Is Bastion going to that?
Yeah, let me look at the bracket. I can kind of go down the players they're going to be there.
European Championships. Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong one.
Yeah. So we got Emil. I'm gonna butcher most of these names.
Yeah.
The top seeds that I recognize are Emil, Cedric,
Angela.
Angelo,
Jimmy Fallon's is a
yeah,
fantastic
Bastion,
player.
Jimmy Fallon's, Tobias.
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon's, I think, would have won at least one European Championship now if he didn't always leave before the finals were played. I'm not sure if he's ever been eliminated from European Championship. He always just has to drop on the
That's really
day
funny.
two. Anyway, speaking about this, so who would we say? I mean, at this point, I think, are we saying Steve Salucci probably the favorite to be number one?
Yeah, I have
at
to
the end
say,
of this?
Steve is a really big favorite.
And then Steven, if we had to be a
Steve is
betting
a really
man,
big favorite to make it through.
yeah,
I think I give Desai actually probably has a. I think Desai might have a slight Desai and Steve. I think Desai and Steve are by far the favorites to make it through.
I think that's true too. Just based on, of course, the proven caliber of player that Justin Desai is. Although Chris Kelly might have something.
Like
to
I
say
find it
about
unlikely that Desai will lose his last game.
It is unlikely, but
It's certainly possible.
I remember
And Desai is basically locked if he wins this last game.
if he wins, yeah, his opponent's win percentage is just so high. Although we had seen it was something absurd last week. It was like 55, and now it's down to a little bit above 50. But
Yeah,
even so, of the players with success, very few players have above 50%. Well, I'm just scrolling down here. We've got Steve Brunson has 54.78, which is
goes to show
really
that
high.
playing weaker players is kind of an advantage in this format.
Yeah, Lenny Rubin I think might have the highest at 59% win percentage of his opponent. Wow, he really has faced a murderer's row all the way.
Yes.
Steve Baroni, 61%.
And of course, as we said, every win that you get decreases your win percentage by about 1%.
Right, because you've, of course, given your opponents a loss.
Yeah. So
that's to be expected.
Like 12-0, their expected win percentage is going to be around 44%.
All right. So anyway, now that we've covered that, let's field questions from the chat for a minute or two. Let's go ahead and do a banning there. And yeah, you're correct, Queso. All right. Yeah, so let's bring in our first guest, who I believe is here with us now. Yeah. So we don't actually know what to call him. We were trying to figure that out earlier. Tom from Jump. And he's going to be with us and has been really quite successful over the past year or so, maybe a little less than a year, on Jump, and he's kind of made a name for himself as a top competitor there, and is proving it with, at least until either today or very recently, was the top player and is still the top finisher, or is tied for the top point getter in the league. So, hey Tom, you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thank you. How are you guys doing?
Okay,
good. How are you?
right.
I'm doing well.
So, Tom, I think a lot of people, including myself, don't know a lot about you and would like to know more. How'd you get into the game?
I collected Star Wars cards as a kid. I collected as a young teenager, so before getting a job and being able to actually afford the number of cards you need to play competitively.
Mm-hmm.
So from that, I really liked the game. It was a nice balance of complexity and simplicity. And then later on, I think I started reading about virtual cards when I had like the flu or something. Mm-hmm. Ended up reading about all the new developments and strategies, and I like the switch to strategies where you could pull most of the cards that you need to make your deck work. Then I was reading I started reading like tournament summaries, and people were talking about like tracking the destiny numbers on cards and all these things that I wasn't aware of when I played as a kid. So I've always found Star Wars cards extremely fascinating. And eventually, let's see, last spring, I think it was during spring break when I had like nothing planned. I wasn't visiting family or anything like that. I had been watching the games that are posted on YouTube of the tournaments, as well as your channel, Tom Kelly. And I was sitting there, I was like, I think I can play. I think I can do this. I think I understand it well enough. And so I ended up logging on. Is it pronounced Gemp or Gemp?
I don't know if there's an official pronunciation. I say jump. I think most people I've heard say it with the soft G as opposed to the hard G. But
okay.
There may be one of those debates where there's no real answer. Unlike Executor, which is just that's the right answer.
So I ended up started playing on Gemp or Gemp, and got that was last spring, and I've been hooked for the last 8 months or so now.
So you pretty much learned the game playing online, is that right?
Yes, and watching videos of other people play.
Okay, yeah, and so how was your learning curve? Like, how long did it take before you started seeing some success?
Before I started winning games against. Well, at first it was easier because I didn't know who anybody was on Gemp.
Yeah, you can say it however you want. I'm not gonna.
To be fair, I believe it is based on the word Gempuku, because for arcane reasons, which it does have a soft G.
Okay.
So I mean, you can say whatever you want. I think
I'll go with Gemp then.
I think it's Gemp.
So at first it was kind of easier because I didn't know who anybody was, so I could play against a former world champion and not be intimidated by that. So eventually one day I started. I went on the forums and I started learning kind of what name went with what username, and I realized that I had actually I'd look through and be like, wow, I won a game against Justin Desai.
Wow.
And I don't know, that was really motivating because I kept going and kept playing.
That's more than I've done in the past 10 years or so. So it's good work.
Yeah. Well, it's fun because you're actually probably been one of the most helpful people for learning the game because of all the games that you've posted on YouTube.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that.
So, yeah. So, for example, I don't know if you watch what you do when you play, but to me it was really interesting because you just sit there for 2-3 minutes at a time, just making a list in your head of all the cards that could cause you to take overflow from a battle or something like that. And I was like, and I don't know, whenever I've played games, I've never been that patient. I've always been much more impulsive. So it was really interesting to be like, oh, that's how someone should play this game. And just to kind of have that example from the get-go as I started playing.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
One of the most interesting things, one of the biggest level ups when you're playing a card game is the concept that you should be playing around cards that your opponents have. The idea that you should be actively trying to figure out what cards could they have in their hand they have if they play them next turn, and how can I mitigate what that potentially could do, and planning around that and having a plan for all the different things your opponent could plan is like that. It's a really big level up for just about any card game that you play, whether it's Star Wars or Magic or any game like that.
Yeah, and because I'm other than playing a little bit of Star Wars cards with friends in the neighborhood as a kid, I never played any card games. I never played Magic. I didn't even play poker or anything like that.
That's great. So now, I mean, feel free not to answer any of these questions if you feel that they give away information that you don't want. But how old are you?
I'm 30 years old.
Okay, I had heard that you were younger than that. So you're at the low end of the age range for Star Wars players, but you're not much below it,
yes,
like Cal is, for instance.
So I would have been because Decipher lost the rights in 01 or 02.
Yeah, 01.
Yeah, so I would have been I would have been what would that be?
You were 13,
14?
14 at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I couldn't play competitively just because I couldn't afford, because I don't, oh gosh, I don't know how many boxes of cards you need to buy of a set to get all the, Luke Skywalker Jedi Knights that you need or whatever.
Right.
Because I guess that wasn't a very popular card back then before like my father before me.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, I'm about the same age. I'm 32, and I think I went to my first tournament, I'd say in 99 or 2000 or something. So I was like 14 or 15 when I started going, and there were players younger than me. Most of them were not successful. I think the only really truly young player that was quite competitive in terms of tournament success was Eric Hunter. Was I think 12 when he was 2000
Oh yeah,
rated, very very successful player.
that's impressive.
So you've never made it to a real life event. Any plans on doing so at some point?
I no, probably not. I'm a college student at the moment, so travel is kind of impractical.
Yeah.
And I'd have to borrow a bunch of cards. I mean, I still have all my Star Wars I collected as a kid, but I didn't actually put together any kind of semblance of a competitive deck or anything like that.
Full disclosure, both Tom and I do not own anything near a collection to put decks together. Yeah. So borrowing cards is not a barrier to prevent you from playing in an event, to be sure.
Yeah, for you or anyone listening, the community is very generous about that. Very given that it's a small community and really wants to grow in terms of players at events and just general niceness of the player base. Very good about using lending out cards. So
especially if you give them back in a timely manner, and people know that you're good about doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually even own any cards, and I used to have defensive shields, but I don't know where they went. But I mean, of course, the whole bit about traveling being not practical, of course, that's for everyone. That's as valid a reason as it gets, but hopefully, when circumstances change, we'll be able to see you at an event someday.
That'd be fun. It'd be a much different experience than playing on Gem, because not having knowing your pile counts at a glance or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely causes some difficulty, and sometimes you forget and you recirculate and you realize, oh, I can't undo, or I can't. I forgot to count because I'm just so used to knowing how many cards were in reserve.
Yeah, so you got to take the time to do that.
Yeah, speaking about...
You don't mind asking, Tom,
okay,
would you know where on the West Coast do you live?
I live in Eastern Washington.
Oh. Okay.
Well, where there's going to be an event in 6 weeks or so.
In Seattle.
Oh, I won't be able to make it because of
school. Yeah, I've got the same. I have exams that week, so it's unfortunately out of the cards for me as well.
Yeah, my problem has been trying to balance playing this game with actually doing my schoolwork, or at least my schoolwork in a way that I actually learn things from.
Yeah, that's always the trick. So speaking of your games, how was your league experience? 10-2. How were the games?
That was a lot of fun. I ended up playing all 12 games in the span of 2 days during the first week of the league, just because I was like, just one more game. Okay. It was especially bad because I think the first day I played, I went 6-0. The second day, I ended up losing the first 2 games I played, and for me, it's kind of like I can't stop playing if the last game was a loss, and if it was 2, that's even worse. So I ended up playing all 12 games over the course of 2 days. For Dark Side, for all my games I played, I carbon chamber testing 12 card deck, which is the deck I've played for the majority of my Dark Side games since starting to play Star Wars cards.
Mm-hmm.
For Light Side, went 4-2 playing a Yavin 4 Operations mains deck.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that hasn't caught on as a mains platform, because before that I mainly played Jakku CPV, and the Yavin 4 Operations just seemed like a better version of the old CPV decks.
Yeah, you certainly get the extra system pull, but you kind of get to start a free effect. You get to start a new secret base V basically for free. You get to pull some systems for activation.
Yeah. And then with the extra activation from the systems, you can cut the Speaks and Jedi Council Chamber and just fit in more of the cards that you need to take over the board.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's cool. Now, your CCT deck has kind of been a little bit of a meta influencer in recent. I mean, we saw Joel Olsen bring it to Worlds this past year.
Yeah, he emailed me. We had played a couple games on Gemp. He was at the time for his light side. He was mainly playing a Throne Room mains with matching sabers. He was using the Luke effect and the matching weapons effect, and I ended up taking a couple games off him against that with carbon chamber testing. Afterwards, he was impressed, and he wanted to see a deck list for carbon chamber testing. I sent one to him, and he ended up playing at Worlds and going 3-1 with it, which is really cool because I'm just this new guy trying to win games, and here's someone who I understand is one of the upper players in Star Wars cards.
Yeah, I mean he's in first place.
Yeah, as always, Joel Olsen put a Joel Olsen spin on the deck, but the foundation was really your deck, which is awesome.
Yeah, he had a very different play style than what I've always built it as. Just this kind of you just attack and battle, and that's really all the deck does. His approach, I think he had like a U3PO, a Presence of the Force, so he kind of had this. He had a little more misdirection, like he could block a Drain to Uncover Spy, put Presence of the Jedi Council Chamber, and set up a damage race, which is something that I've never tried to do with carbon chamber testing.
Yeah, I remember, because I was actually testing with Joe for Worlds quite a bit. And I think I remember when we threw some of those cards in, Presence was just really good, basically as a spy. He just wanted a spy that was easily pullable that could also just help with the damage race. It just felt like a really flexible card.
Yeah, I love that card. And after Set 8 came out and it added a bunch of cards that really help carbon chamber testing, I was trying to find something that was better than CCT that actually used the Set 8 cards, and one of them was a Huntdown 12 card that really relied on. I floated Crush the Rebellion to protect the presence from Clash of Sabers, and I really like that because by not starting Crush the Rebellion, it actually had the opportunity to catch people off guard with the Monarch Pole or whatever.
Mm. Oh, yeah, nice. Mm.
But you experimented with the Huntdown, but you've kind of concluded that CCT is better or more your style, or?
Well, to me, Huntdown's just so hit or miss depending on the matchup, and it depends so much on getting a fast start. Whereas carbon chamber testing, even if you get a slow start and you can't attack, you always have IG-88 to kind of give you an advantage as the game goes on.
So you went 10-2. Is that a 6-0 with one of your decks and 4-2 with the other, or both of them go 5-1?
Yes, it was 6-0 with Dark Side and 4-2 with Light Side.
4-2 with Light Side. So we've talked a lot about the Dark Side. I mean, that's a good segue to the Light Side. What were the problems with the Light Side?
The problem with my Light Side deck is I had the space package I've been running is just Home 1 and a non-virtual Hand Chewing the Falcon, which presents problems against TTO because I basically have to fight them in space in order to win that matchup. Because I don't think I had Philo or any of the other really powerful cards for winning a damage race against TTO.
So have you decided that the way to combat TTO is to add those cards in? Have you modified your deck now?
Yes. I think I put. The options are like Philo to try to win a damage race, or what I really like to. When I first made the deck, I was playing Life Debt with Hand Chewing the Falcon. Was I could occasionally use, because the way I built the deck, it really depends on Luke's Bionic Hand. The main thing that I try to set up the deck is Luke Skywalker, General Leia, Bionic Hand and Skywalkers to be able to replay Skywalkers from Lost Pile.
So that Luke Skywalker being the virtual one?
No. Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight. Usually I'd play 4 of him, or if, I see a bunch of people playing Abyss or Monarch and cards like that, either go 4 Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight or 2 of him and 2 of the new Luke, the young Skywalker.
Young Skywalker is a pretty good card. I'd like to.
My favorite thing about him would be, say, during the weapon phase of battle and drawing weapon destiny. So even if I already have Luke on table, I might draw young Skywalker for destiny, take him into hand, and because he's no longer a useful card once Luke's on table, I could use him as the card that I would trade with Bionic Hand, which that actually came into play a lot. Because, especially when I had a hand where it's like, I don't really want to get rid of any of these cards. Most of them are going to be useful.
Free one from the reserve deck.
Yeah. Before I got in the whole tangent about Bionic Hand, the one thing I really liked about the Yavin 4 mains deck I made was it had the option to put in life debt. And so if it had the opportunity to battle on the ground, say against TTO, they deploy Erica, break her cover with Cornhorn, can eventually use Luke with Bionic Hand to either get a life depth that was lost off the deck earlier to a drain or to TTO damage, or to use it to replay it multiple times in battle to try to clear out their pack of ships.
Yeah, make the HDF even more dangerous. All right, we get a couple questions from the audience here, and who were your losses to, if you don't know?
I lost to Gornall playing Court Scum, and then I lost to Aeneas playing TTO.
I think it's pronounced Aeneas.
Yeah,
Aeneas?
Yeah, the hero of the Aeneid. It's the Roman version of the Iliad. But
okay.
Yeah.
He beat me handedly with TTO, and that's why I went back and started changing cards around. I think after that I immediately added in Philo, because I wasn't able to do like any damage to him whatsoever. Oh, and it was really bad because let's see, I ended up launching the assault, and I was going to pull home 1. I ended up saving 1 force in my force pile, and home 1 ended up being that 1 force. So when I went to make the pull, I ended up missing home 1. So that was just awful. In that matchup, I basically have to fight them in space, and I couldn't pull the one decent starship I had for just tacking on a bunch of pilots and destiny adders and whatnot.
You play launching and stuff to get it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so other than Huntdown, anything else has appealed to you other than Huntdown and CCT? Obviously?
I really like Endor operations. Although I played one game with Imperial Entanglements, that I can see why that's like the only dark side deck you play, because that deck is just ridiculously consistent with all the reserve pulls and being able to get whatever pilot you need with I Can't Shake 'em. That deck is like, I played Endor Ops, and I thought Endor Ops was really good, and I played Imperial Entanglements. Like, oh, this is like Endor Ops on steroids.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot, actually.
Yeah, I also think I is a great deck.
Yeah, well, I mean, the tournament results with the CCT undefeated. I mean, in terms of consistency, what's more consistent than getting whatever card you want every turn out of your force pile? So it has that for it.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic deck. I was glad to see that in the latest tournament that I think 4 people played CCT 12 card. There's Phil Asen and Kyle Kruger, and Justin Desai played it as well.
Yeah, at the NPC.
Yeah, for a long time people played MF Necessary Start to make sure you got IG, but I think it works really well with the deck, because the deck doesn't suffer for card quality because you get the best cards, so starting with a lot of cards in hand can
Yeah, as
I know
long
you wrote
as long as you can still get the IG and you just run the redundancy.
right, so you give up a little consistency there, but you still have
There
a
are
really good
some
card.
terrible games with it though when you don't. Because even I think I typically play more cards to get IG88 than most players who play it. Like I think I've seen some people go as low as 2 IG88s and 2 force pushes. For me, I've typically I'll play 2 IG88s, 3 force pushes, and even a virtual Daro who can pull IG88.
Okay, yeah.
And even then, I'll have games where it's like I don't get him till turn 4 or 5, and it's terrible.
Yeah,
You're certainly giving up a lot in those games. I know you wrote a primer for it on the forums, which I thought was really fantastic.
I wrote a bunch of stuff about it.
That's true.
But I'm going to post a link to it in chat if anyone's interested in it if they haven't seen it before. No, I just posted a discussion forum.
Yeah, we should talk about that, but also we're out of time. We've got 2 more guests to get to, so
I just wanted to get it in before.
Yeah, so we gotta bring in our next guest. But Tom, thank you very much for joining us, and pleasure talking to you.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Tom.
All right, let's here, Kyle, you talk for a sec. I gotta.
Okay, I think getting Matthew Harrison Trainer on the line now, who's going to be our next guest that we're going to talk to. He is currently one of the undefeated players left in the league, although he has only played 4 games so far. He certainly has a really great track record of doing well in tournament play.
I mean, Matt can correct me when he gets here, but I think there is a period of 3 years or so where he went to just about every major event and never missed the cut.
Sounds right.
Yeah, and it was something like 11 in a row, right? I think, where I mean, top 8 at Worlds, top 4 at NPC, and whatever other events they went to, and just I think it was 2016 Worlds was the first time he missed a cut, and then I think that was the last event he went to.
Yeah, certainly it puts him right up there in that top echelon of players that you just kind of know they're locks for top 8 whenever they show up to events. Johnny Chu, Justin Desai, ML.
I agree.
I think Matt can when he's playing, if he's been practicing and has been getting games in, I think he really gets into that conversation.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, I'd add CryptoFist as well. I mean, a couple of Europeans, CryptoFist and Jimmy Fallon's.
For sure. Always good.
Yeah, Kevin Shannon if he's playing but hasn't in a while, but among the very, very top of the game. I've sent them a text. This was around the time that we had said, but he had mentioned that he was doing some work, and this would be when he.
I sent him a message on Slack as well, but
okay.
10 minutes ago, let him know he was coming up, but he hasn't been on Slack, which isn't that surprising.
Yeah. Let's see. In the meantime, I wonder if. Let's see. We need to maybe have a better system for doing this part. Yeah. So
well, you can't get much more than having the person tell you that they're going to be here at a certain time.
Yeah, I think I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Hey, I haven't spoken to you in a while. How's it going?
Pretty good. You guys?
Yeah, really well. Yeah. So,
are we live now, or are you guys waiting?
Yeah, we are live. Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, joining us now is Matthew Harrison Trainer, and Matt. I guess tell the people a little bit about yourself.
I guess I played a little bit a long time ago, but I really started playing in, I want to say 2010 with the Canadian guys who pretty much have all stopped playing since then. Have you guys seen Stephen Kim ever? In last year or something?
Last I saw him was World 2015.
No, he went to a World since then, but he didn't play.
Okay.
Stephen Kim is he's doing some. He's making his own game right now.
Yeah.
He's like made multiple games. He had some like music game he was showing me, but then he pivoted to, I don't know. He has his own company or something now, and he's making games. So yeah, I haven't seen him or Cole or Paul or yeah. It's unfortunately
Yeah.
not
And I think they all got married and had
yeah,
a lot less time.
Full ball and chain.
as it goes. But anyway, and then for the last year or so, you haven't really been, you've been busy.
Yeah. So I've basically been traveling a lot. I was away for like MC. I was away during Worlds. Yeah. So I've been actually in Canada for the last 6 months.
Nice.
In Toronto?
Like near Toronto.
Okay.
And then I'm moving to New Zealand in June.
That was originally, you were supposed to already be in New Zealand, but that's
but they sort of
rescheduled
moved
you.
things around, and yeah.
Okay, so yeah, once you go there, it's gonna be hard to make it to events, but
Yeah,
there's always.
I mean, given that I haven't been able to make it now.
Yeah, but I mean, this really is the first time you've played. So, what about this event kind of inspired you to get back into playing here? Because
I don't know. I guess it was like a reason. Like it seemed like everyone had moved from Holotable to Jump, and it seemed like sort of a reason to figure out how to play
on Jump.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think of the returning players that this league has brought in, we would say the biggest name, and so.
But I think you also like never really quit Star Wars.
Yeah, some people do. You just don't talk to them again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, it's the same way. As I've taken prolonged absences, but always had it in the mind and I've come back to it. And are you still playing Netrunner? You had said that you were having a lot of success with Netrunner in the past.
No, I stopped playing that at some point. So I was playing with my ex, and then when we broke up, it was sort of
okay.
Like it was sort of the thing we did together, and then plus it started getting a little more annoying than it had been before. I think they didn't have very much design space, and they sort of ran out.
All right. So how are you finding the Jump experience so far?
I think it's a little annoying coming from Holotable, just because you have to click so many times for so many things.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah,
that is kind of old when you get started.
I think you start to get used to it where you like know where you're gonna have to click next.
Yeah.
So I guess
another big tip is also setting like a low auto pass, so that'll pass all the top level actions.
Yeah, so I have
while your mouse is that's helpful because it doesn't pass responses, which is nice. So if they play a character, you're not going to miss your chance to barrier.
Yeah, and there's only like a few things that you really want to do as
a shield before battle or something like that. You have to be careful.
Yeah, or like if you want to trample something, or
or like clash something before battle. If you know you might want to do these things, you gotta. A second's enough time. You don't have to click. You just gotta move your mouse a little bit.
Yeah, right. But also the Cloud City set that lets you move around takes 4 clicks per person you want to move.
That is annoying.
So you gotta get used to like which order you have to click on the site, then I think click where you're going from and where you're going to, and then who you want to move or something.
Yeah, well, you need to click on the site and it gives you the option move from another Cloud City site to here or backward. It feels like there's at least one click that's redundant there.
I think the biggest one is you have to click the site again, but I'm guessing it's because there's some been templated to like need the input for the location.
Yeah,
and I guess it's possible that could be you need to like set a default to be the location that you were just clicked on, but it's possible that's not an easy thing to do in the code, so it just needs to be like re-clicked.
No, that was one of the first. I think that was one of the first complaints that you sent to me, and I was like, yeah, you know what, you played the deck that literally that one I've noticed is the worst in the entire game in terms of that. Because I don't.
When you have to, I mean, it should only take. If you're moving someone to the site, it should only take 2 clicks, right? You should just say like, I want to move, and then click on the character you want to move.
But sometimes you want to use the force, and you have to have the option to do that.
Yeah, so if you click on the site,
the character.
Yeah, if you
Oh,
click the
that's
character,
true.
then use the force.
Yeah, that's true. If you click the site and then click the character, you can do it. Or if you just want to move.
That's a good point, yeah. Because, well, no, you'd click the character, then you'd click the site that you go to if they're a character already at the 1.0 site.
Yeah, so if they're already at the site, then it takes 3 clicks.
Yeah, and if they're at another site, it should only take 2. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, you could conceivably do it that way. And maybe that's an optimization that we'll have, that Troy will be able to make, but I think his focus at the moment is on adding
all the cards
that don't exist right now.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, when I first played on Jemp, that was a lot larger amount than it is now. It's almost entirely the meta now.
Yeah, like, I mean, to be honest, I thought he would never be able to do it.
Yeah.
But he has. Like, I mean, if you know anything about programming, it's like it's an insanely hard problem because the rules are not very clear.
No. And I've spoken.
He's done a lot of work with the rules guys to he's helped iron out some rules. Some things that got changed because of him, and the rules engine he's implemented has been really fantastic.
Yeah, I've spoken to the rules guys, and he has his own rules forum where he can ask the million questions that he has to ask for these corner cases that really never come up in play. But,
well, and then there's just all these things you have to program, like specific interactions between specific cards, right? Like there are things that say, like, may not be operated or something, right?
Yeah.
So then you have to know, like, what operating is, and that has to be programmed in specifically.
Yeah, you have to have like a specific Boolean that says, like, if Dr. E attempts to do this, then
then this is an operation, not just like a normal person being lost.
Mm-hmm. So I think I've caught at least 2 or 3 of your games on Jemp, and you've been in a few situations where I thought, oh man, no way is he winning this game.
Actually, I did a really good one. Did you see the one against Xanth yesterday?
Yes, yeah, against you know who Xanth is, right?
Yeah, it's
Tom Hade.
Other Tom, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, tell us about that.
So I think I was playing QMC, and he actually had a cool deck. I don't know if I hadn't seen it before. It was like Coruscant CRV, and so let me see. He was playing. He must have been playing a whole bunch of copies of that new interrupt that pulls like Forlom, Boba Fett, Dengar.
Yeah, double back V.
Yeah. So he got Forlom out very quick. He started. What is the effect that pulls I Have You Now? Innovator?
Crush the Rebellion.
Crush the Rebellion, yeah. So he started that, right? So he was always pulling cards into his hand to put them back with Forlom. So he basically got to draw an extra card every turn, both of our turns.
Right.
He got to get the Boba Fett and then Slave 1 together very fast. So I think when I played out Hark Seth on my first turn, and he had Boba Fett, and I think he put Count Dooku on it. Right, and then of course, so he's got the Destiny from Boba Fett. He's got I Have You Now with Count Dooku if I ever play a Rebel
to space, yeah.
And then like Boba Fett can go and look for a card, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's got like at worst a close call or a short range fighters. So I think I barriered, landed Hark Seth, and moved him to the 1.0 site.
Right,
and
so
added
cautious start.
Yeah, added Wedge and Corn Horn there to flip. I guess I added them first, flip, then moved down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You put them different sites and then move them for free. Yeah.
And then he had a Presence of the Force, Maul with lightsaber, who I barriered, Vader with lightsaber, and Dr. Evazan. So he battled, operated Wedge, and then I was really lucky, and he only drew 5 with his. I guess he had the I Have You Now, but so he had 2 Destiny, but he only drew 5.
So Hark Seth was able to
survive. Hark Seth survives.
Okay.
So you can keep some semblance of activation going.
Yeah, because otherwise I was basically out of the game
at that point. Dying is a huge deal for QMC.
Yeah, and then the other big thing, so then he moved Vader over a site. And so I beat down Vader he started like the Gick effect.
Oh, okay.
And
that's interesting.
And so he used that on the Vader. And so then I figured he didn't have any more Gicks. And basically, like, he was draining for like 3 and 2 and 1 at that point.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, I was looking. He had pretty much complete board control. You were running for your life in space and on the ground.
And so basically, I knew that the only way I was going to win is if I got Dr. E with Blast the Door Kid, right? Like to play something like Chewie and someone else to draw Destiny, like hit Dr. Evazan, battle Dr. Evazan without Maul there, hit him,
All right,
and
so
do like 10 or so overflow.
so explain that play, because isn't Dr. Evazan with EPP Maul right now in this situation? How are you going to get rid of EPP Maul?
Yeah, so Dr. Evazan is ability 2, right? So Blast the Door Kid gets rid of Maul.
Right.
And so I have to play something like Chewie, and I think I ended up using Yoxkit.
Yes, yeah.
Which is like 9 power in a Destiny.
Yeah. Power 3 ability 2, deploy zeros. And just a pretty good card.
Yeah.
And this was just
Basically
the premier.
admirable.
This was the premier Dr. Evazan, right? Not the
So he didn't draw Destiny. He didn't have
he didn't have the combo. It was just the regulars. Was he playing Disarmed then?
I saw one combo Dr. Evazan in his deck. So he must have been doing the combo, right? Unless he just wanted the cheaper deploy.
He must have been playing some kind of Disarmed, right?
I mean, Ponda Baba V is also a powerful card in his own right.
That is true. That is true.
But I don't think you would play the combo Dr. E and the non-combo Dr. E and V Honda.
That is interesting.
He must have been playing. I mean, you wouldn't really see the Disarm so much because you're playing QMCs. It's not like most of your characters have weapons anyway.
Yeah.
So you were able to beat down Dr. E for like 11, 12 force or something? And
yeah, something like that. But that happened I think I was holding the Blast the Door Kid in my hand at that point. But I just used the Chewie against Vader. He went in Lost Pile. I had to put Leia down. I got a Cloud City Celebration, ended up retrieving Chewie. Had to go find Chewie, had to find Yoxkit, and then maybe 6 turns later or something, got Dr. E.
Wow.
But I think I talked to him afterwards and it sounded like we both knew the whole game that that was, if I was going to win, it was that, and he just had nothing he could do about it.
So who's got the door chimes thing going on? That whoever's not hearing it. Yeah, it must be you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not me.
All right, so wait, you want to? Okay.
I think I got it.
And then you had an entanglements game against who were you playing? You played in a game with entanglements, and it looked like, I think it was against. Oh, you only had the 3 sites. It was against, I think, a Hitgo or something.
Oh yeah.
And
was that James Barnes?
It might have been against James Barnes. I can't remember. But you were flipped back, and I thought it's over here once you flipped back. But you somehow managed to get yourself back on the 7 side when you were operating very low life force. Do you remember that game well enough to talk about it?
Not a huge amount of interesting stuff happened, though. I learned something. I learned 2 very new things, or at least one. I guess I've learned one new thing and one thing that I forgot to watch out for. But so the first new thing is you can. So if you usually what you do if someone has things that react, right, is you battle the thing at one site, and then it's already battled. So and then you battle the other site, and the things can't participate in 2 battles in 1 turn, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So you sort of stop the react like that. But there's actually nothing that says that you can't react. All that it says is that you can't battle.
No, I think this is a classic example of a rules mechanic that probably no one was aware of until Jump forced us to all become aware of it.
So and I think this particular battle was happening. So the first battle happened somewhere on Tatooine, and the second battle happened at the Desert Heart. So I knew his characters were going to stick around, and they couldn't move because the Desert Heart stops characters from moving. So I knew if I reacted over the ATST, then it would be sitting there on my next turn ready to battle him.
And so even though it was going to be immediately excluded, it was still worth reacting
over.
Yeah.
I can imagine also cases where you would want to say your characters there didn't have a vehicle, but you could move the ATST over there so that next turn you could be ready to move them away.
Yeah, it's another just basically if you want to have a free move during the other person's turn, you got it.
Yeah, especially with the ATST, the reacts are free, where you can move 2 guys.
Yeah,
whichever one that is. So.
Right, or if you want to set up more occupation damage or something.
And then there was the classic play that really only happens on Jump, where I think it was Leia shot using blaster proficiency at your walker. So blaster proficiency adding 3 to the total. Leia's gun is if destiny +1 greater than the total.
Yeah, and I think what the armor was 3. Oh no, it was shooting at Tarkin, I think.
Yeah, shooting.
Yeah, I remember this.
It was a 3 ability, and he drew a 2. So I calculated like 2 + 3 + 1 is 6. Then close call -3 is going to be 3, and he'll miss.
Right, which seems very natural. And if that ever happened in a real life game, your opponent would say, "Oh no, it adds to the total," and you take it back. But Jump is kind of cruel like that. It's just like, "Oh, he wants to close call it." Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it still hits, and so Tarkin kind of did the walk of shame to the lost pile, but you still managed to pull that out. Yeah, and I mean, I've seen.
It almost hurt me a lot because later on in the game, I had something like Veers on a walker against Rey. I think something like that, and so of course, if he draws a 5 or better, then I lose Veers and Walker,
and you're really going to want that close call. Yeah,
but he drew low, and it was okay.
Well, Matt, before you go, I've got one question to ask you. So, if since this OCS is probably going to run through the rest of the year, what impact do you think it's going to have on the meta leading up to big events? Are people going to be afraid to show the decks they're thinking about playing for the next big tournament coming up, or do you think people will just to keep winning?
I mean, probably half and half, right? I think like for someone like you, Tom, you just like playing your decks to get used to them, and you'd rather be better at playing the deck than having secrets in some sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to be comfortable with the deck more than you want people to not know about it. Because I mean, if it's just like a normal deck, maybe some few changes, then like no one has time to look at what decks 60 different people are playing, basically.
Right, so that's definitely true.
Unlikely to affect you.
But
if someone has like a really off the wall deck, they might not want to play it because then it's something that people would start copying and stuff like that.
And I think there's just different players in the community who kind of subscribe to different parts along that spectrum of.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, some people like play the same. Some people just play TRM again and again, and they'll probably just play TRM and bring a different one to the tournament or something like that.
Yeah,
and Hall Table still has its place then, right? For people that want to test without everyone else being able to look in and see exactly what they're playing.
Yeah, and it's probably better for things like if you want to back up when you're testing or something, you want to make
exactly
cards in hand.
Revert function is nice, but it's not perfect.
Yeah,
I think.
If you want to test what happens when I draw this card.
Yeah, Hall Table probably among people that are very experienced users of both platforms is superior for that. But in terms of being friendly to a newcomer, Jump definitely takes the cake there, and I think that reflects the huge success of the program and the player base.
Yeah, just like the number of people online in Jump at a time.
It's great.
It's just enormous.
I mean, this is like twice the size of the biggest Star Wars event we've had in the last few years, which is
like I'm looking here. There's 7 people playing right now, or 7 games, right? So 14 people playing.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And looks like maybe like 25 people sitting in the lobby.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Let's see, if you probably put up a game, you'd probably find one in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So, that's great. We've got one of them being an OCS game. We got Jerry Hines.
Yeah, we got Jerry playing. Concher playing.
Is that Jared Gonsker, JJD?
Yeah.
Queso.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, that would be.
For some reason he couldn't get JJD on here. I'm not quite sure why.
Like he couldn't get just like the letters.
I think he probably logged in once and then forgot his password. And there wasn't a recover password feature or something like that. I think that was the story.
Yeah, I think Gurgle is Gurgle too for that reason.
There is one now, but I don't know if there was originally, or there might still not be one.
All right. Well, we've run out of time. We've gone beyond time, actually. Good talking to you, Matt. And
yeah, you
started late. It's fine.
By the way, are you in California again now?
Yeah, I'm back for I don't know how much longer. I think I'm going to take the bar here. So for a while, I'm back here.
So if you take the bar there, then you're living there?
Yeah, in terms of getting a job,
yeah,
it's going to be a lot easier. Like the Santa Clara Law degree isn't going to travel state to state all that well. So I'm going to have to lateral back somewhere on the East Coast if I do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably for the next few years, I'm going to be in California, probably Bay.
Cool.
So yeah, if you're back in California, definitely let me know.
Yeah, I was thinking of being back sometime before June, so
okay.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, good talking to you guys.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
Talk to you later.
See you.
All right, so I've messaged Chris Kelly. He said around 7:10 we were going to start. It's a little past then, but not too much. And we'll see if we can get him in here. I think this will be his first time using Discord, so that will also be.
He is on Slack. Let me message him.
Okay, yeah.
I need to set up a Skype call with him or something. I can. I'll just add you to it.
I don't know. Yeah, Skype we can do also. I don't know. It feels like Discord is easier to me.
So I think it is easier, but if people don't have it set up and they have Skype set up, then. While we wait for Chris, do you want to pop into this game?
I was just about to suggest that. Yeah, let's take a look at. We've got Queso playing Watcher Step. Oh, he's got the Watcher Step version with the new secret base to pull Kashyyyk.
Cool.
All of his smugglers deploy -2, so it kind of really accelerates the space. It's
that is cool.
Colorado special. Jan Westergaard and Jerry Hine have been playing that for years now.
Yeah, and looks like Jared's playing Invasion with battle droids. I assume he's playing blasters. Although, actually, no. It looks like he's just doing regular battle droids without 8 blasters in the deck. Since he's starting...
He doesn't have the You'll Be Dead start.
You'll Be Dead doesn't have the entire Legion start, so he's playing Crush, Battle Order, and... This is more of like a mains version, where because there's the new Maul, the EPP Maul can be played, plus the new Sidious are both 2 really powerful dark side mains that can fit in this deck. Hey, Chris Kelly's here.
Oh.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you just great. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
Doing all right. So, good to hear you. And how you doing?
Good, yeah. Sorry about the delay. Obviously, technology is not my strong suit.
Not a problem.
So
we were talking with Matt until 2 minutes ago, so don't worry about it.
Yeah,
perfect.
And we ran a bit later than we said we would, but these things sometimes happen. So we've been looking through the standings and noticed someone familiar in 4th place right now. So
is that me?
That's you.
All right.
Wait, where is it? Yeah, Chris Kelly, you're 10-1 at the moment.
Yes, sir.
So how are you feeling?
To be honest, I'm pretty happy with how I've played, but not feeling great about my chances of qualifying this month.
Why do you say that?
Well, there's still that beast that needs to be tamed in Steve Salucci.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like he's going to go on quite the run, and that would leave Matt. Obviously, I think is still also undefeated. I don't know. He hasn't played that many games though, right? He still has.
Yeah, he still has 8 to go.
A few more to play.
So
8 to go. Okay.
I mean, you think even with a player of his caliber, it's hard to win 8 games. You know, it's hard to go undefeated like that. I mean,
yeah,
you
can always run into a bad matchup.
Yeah, Justin Desai has dropped 1.
I saw Justin's match that he lost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was surprised. It's not surprised. Am I allowed to? I don't know. I don't want to give up anyone's tech.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, it's public, the ladder thing, but we want to talk about you more. We'll get Justin here, and
all right.
at some point, and Justin can talk about Justin. But so you've got 1 game to go. You are you nervous about this last game? or how are you
I don't
approaching
think
it?
I'm nervous. I'm not nervous about the game. Looking at the standings, my keeps dropping. It's like the people I played forgot how to play Star Wars cards. So come on, people that played me, keep winning. I think I was at 44 at some point, and now I'm looking at I'm at 42.
Yeah.
So even if Steve does lose a game, I'm probably still on the bubble. My best chance is probably to try to snipe the game and end up playing either Steve or Justin at this point.
Yeah, if you can take matters into your own hands,
Yeah,
that would be the way. So if Justin wins, I think we pretty much would say that you're behind Justin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, if Steve obviously needs to lose one in order for you to be ahead of him. But if Steve does lose one and one, it seems conceivable that the win percentages could end up in your favor by the end of the month.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's just win your games and you'll have the math take care of itself.
Yeah,
but
that's as much as you can control. But
I think it's interesting that while we've been sitting here tonight, actually, Brother Justin's win percentage has increased by 0.5%.
Oh, yeah.
Just while we've been here.
Wow.
So these things, they can definitely change.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the number of players and the number of games that are always going on, you never know. And but yeah, it will be, so you can control your destiny or you can control it as much as possible by winning this next game. But yeah, I don't know if it's bringing up a sore subject, but the finish at Worlds this past year, for those who might not know, Chris Kelly.
Yeah, I have to formally apologize there, Chris, for losing my last round.
Wait, what's the story?
So Chris played me twice on day 2 of Worlds, and so if I'd won any one of the games that I'd lost, his strength schedule would have easily been enough to put him in the top 8.
And we would have had a different world champion.
We would have had a different world champion.
Because it was Chris Kelly and Phil Assen that were competing for that 8th spot. And it went down to... What ended up happening? Not to rub it in, I don't actually remember.
Yeah, no, I'm cool with it. I think it went down to the opponent's strength of schedule or opponent's victory points or something. There's a lot of
it's like opponent's strength of schedule, I think.
Yeah. So not even the first tiebreaker, because they tied on that. The second tiebreaker, and just about as close as it's ever been, and just missed out by a sliver.
The real kicker with that was one of the rounds that got mispaired. Initially, Phil and I were paired to play one another.
So you could have settled it that way.
Exactly. And he was playing Step and I was playing Watto. So overall, I probably liked just the matchup of that. Obviously you got to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
But if that had gone through, there's no worry about what happens.
So in terms of this event, what have you been playing? What have you been seeing? If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, sure. The only thing I don't want to talk about, just because I don't want to give anyone I don't want to mess with the fairness of it all. Obviously, I only have one game side. It is, but I have obviously been playing mains for light side, and for dark side, I've been playing destroyer droids and kind of like a mains type Coruscant CRV. Not what the Pittsburgh version is, but something that I've kind of been working on since last MPC. That's fun.
Interesting. So you're the first person we've talked to so far that has used more than 2 decks in this event.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The other, we've mostly been talking to top finishers here. Tom said that he 6 games with the CCT, 6 games with the Yevon 4 Ops. Steve Salucci, at least when we talked to him, had played only with Diplo and Endor Ops. And
I know he said he mentioned he felt comfortable with multiple decks. So I don't know if he's used them since then, but
he may have changed it up. But as of a week ago,
and I do believe Steve has used a different deck than those two, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he has used a different deck, but yeah, honestly, destroyer droids are fun, and I'll credit Jared, who is really good deck builder, especially compared to my skills. He has a really good, fun Destroyer Droid deck.
We were just watching him play Invasion, but with battle droids, not the destroyers. So
his other version of it. Yeah, he's got a few versions of it. I think they're all pretty good, pretty tough. But for me, the Destroyer Droids, you just shoot people, and that's Star Wars to me. It's like you shoot them, and then when you're done, you shoot them again. So it was really fun. But the problem I found with that was it had an auto loss, and my one this event was to that. So a bad matchup.
You ran into the auto loss. Destroyers.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see if we can guess it. Cal, what do you
Sure.
think? What is the auto loss?
Hidden base can be good. Let's put it that way.
That was my first thought, but I
Hidden base it was.
Oh, it was. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and when they get set up at two systems with quad laser cannons at both system and flipped, there's nothing really you can do. I had Search and Destroy up and running, I think, since turn 2 in that game, but all that really did was cause Luke to retrieve and cause Braglin to lose the cannon and then retrieve that. So once he got the two system, or once he flipped with two systems, I tried doing the miracle probe, and before I could probe his system, he shot me, and I figured at that point I don't want to play a deck that has a game that I cannot win, so I stopped playing Destroyer Dread at that point.
Yeah, because there's really nothing you can do as Invasion to protect your space from getting shut down.
Yeah,
I mean the flagship is just a sitting duck, and
exactly
there aren't that many other ships that are viable that you can play.
Yeah, like I guess you have to maybe play enough close calls and hope that you can use that to stop it for like a turn or two, but eventually you're going to succumb to the inevitable.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly, this is one significant difference of Jump and Live Play right now, is we're still missing combined attack on Jump.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't either.
So I was planning to run that multiple times, and I've been playing Hidden Base.
Well, at least I'm pretty sure. Last I knew, I haven't seen it been added. But
that's correct. That sounds right. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
That's a hard card to code for sure.
Yeah, I think that might.
It's been changed so many times. They've just
the cards that are still missing right now are the ones that have just really weird rules interactions. So combined.
Oh yeah, and I can imagine all the work Troy's gone through. So credit to everyone on the tournament committee. I know Justin had a big part in getting this together. Chris Schoenthal, obviously, I think Paul, and I'm sure I'm missing others. This is just a fun event. I find myself watching watching people I don't know play Star Wars games in the hopes that it increases my strength of schedule or decreases someone else. And it's just a cool thing. Like I really like Steve Salucci, but I find myself rooting against him, and it's kind of like well, it's kind of cool in a way. In a card game about wizards and space apes, it's just a really cool event that the PC's doing.
Nice. Yeah. And Steve Salucci is probably your biggest threat. In any, have you been talking to any of the guys? Like any indications from Justin about when he's going to play his, or kind of hoping?
I assume Justin's theory is the same. We've put ourselves in an okay position where we kind of have earned the right to sit and wait. I have been on, and I'm not going to lie. If I see Steve on, if I see a table, I might try to join it. Okay. I do think that's probably one of my best paths. To be frank, statistically speaking, my best path might actually be Justin, because he already has the loss. So if I can give him a second loss, which I'm not saying is an easy task, but if I can do it, then that knocks him out entirely.
Yeah,
and then I'm not worried about
if you win and Justin loses, you're in a really good spot.
Right.
I mean, the thing is, it's just that doesn't happen all that often.
It doesn't. I beat him in one of the games at the NPC, but obviously he won the match, so. It's a tall task, but hey, listen, if it's my best shot, what do I have to lose? I only played these games to get the foil. I got the foil. I'm happy about it, and
that is true.
That's
true.
I think the other people it's basically just I think Matt HT and Bastion the only people kind of like sitting down that haven't played so many games or any thread at all, really.
Possibly, Brian Mishke also has. He's 3-1, but he's got a lot of.
Oh, is he 3-1? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, 3-1. That's
a lot of games in a row to win.
You gotta win a lot in a row, but.
And he's got to hope his tiebreakers are decent.
Right.
There is also the game theory, and I don't know where it turns out, but it seems like a lot of the players have played many games early, and some other players, haven't played as many. Mm-hmm. So I am wondering, are people going to get jammed up at the end where they just can't find the games to get them in?
I'm worried about that too. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see.
Or are a lot of good players still left that have games to play? Are they going to all of a sudden, they'll all be on at the same time and kind of knocking each other off? So it is interesting. Is it more of an advantage to get your games in early or get them in late? I don't know. We'll see how that plays out.
We had talked maybe a week ago or so, and you're concerned about actually being able to get all 12 games in.
Yeah.
But looks like you've been doing all right. Is that just this month?
Yeah.
Do you think?
I don't know if it was me talking about my concern personally for me to get 12 in. It just in general.
Okay.
It does seem like 12 is a lot.
Yeah.
Not much going on in my life. I'm kind of a loser, so I can play a lot, but it does seem like 12 is a lot.
We've seen. I mean, you look at the number of people that have signed up and haven't been able to play any, or who have,
Yeah.
I mean, if we're thinking of halfway through the month right now, and we're just about halfway, maybe a little bit more, players would be six games would be on pace to finish, and we've got maybe looks like almost 30 people that aren't on that pace. So it might be just a tall task for people, but yeah, I was saying it's hard for them to find the balance of, okay, let's do enough that we have a good sample size of the competition, because ideally it would never come down to the tiebreakers, and it would be just really clear who's best by who won the most. But
and something that's exciting for me almost is let's say I win my next game and I end up in 4th place. That's in a way disappointing, but in a way it's also exciting that next month I have to do it all over again and probably go 11-1 just to still have a shot. So if you don't make trying to be at the top of your game, you don't get to loaf. So that's kind of an exciting way to look at things.
And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are one of the purchasers of the season-long pass, right? Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So no matter, basically, even if you win this month, you're still back for the foil every month, right?
Oh yeah, Chris is all in for the foil.
Still back. But if I win, then I don't have to play the same decks. There's no pressure. I don't care about base. I'm playing Destroyer Droids because I like shooting things. I can try Watto because I like it. There's decks that I won't play.
Hold on. Chris.
I don't know that.
Chris.
Hold on, your audio is getting strange. I don't know if you're doing anything different. Wait, were you hearing that too, Cal?
Yeah, I was hearing that as well.
Okay.
He's cut out a couple times before, but usually just like a word or two. Now,
are we good now?
Seems a little worse.
That sounds better now. Yeah, sorry, at the end there you were getting kind of robot. But you're back, it sounds like.
Is he back?
Are you? When you said, is it good now, you sounded good, and then you haven't said anything since then.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds a little auto-tuned on my phone, which makes it pretty gangsta.
Okay.
Well, we might have just lost Chris.
No, well, anyway, I was about to say, he was saying you don't have to be as competitive after, once you've made it. And I've experienced that because I think I lost 3 of my first 4 games. So at that point, I just, I'm not entirely happy with my light side options right now. So I've been trying other decks. And
I also saw you playing a game with Trooper IE instead of regular IE, which is It's gonna be a fun deck to test. It got hit pretty hard by the errata IE. It was really good before then.
Yeah, I think it's still pretty good, but yeah, that's that's a thing. I think Chris is reflecting that there's some freedom to play whatever as opposed to being super confident or super competitive.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's decks that I know, and I feel that I have an out to win. And if I qualify, then I don't feel the need to play those decks.
Yeah, you're just playing for fun at that point,
Yeah,
which is
yep.
a great way to play Star Wars cards.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, I need to get some dinner and stuff, so I think we. Any last questions, Cal?
I think so. It was
All right. Well,
good talking to you guys.
Yeah, Chris. Thank you for joining us. Good luck with
Yeah.
your final game and with
Thanks very much.
With the forces that are outside of your control as well.
I appreciate it, and thanks to you guys for doing this. It's pretty exciting. I think last week I said it's almost like the Red Zone or MLB Tonight. It's kind of cool to see this, so I'm looking forward to watching it on Twitch.
Right, we'll be back next week as well, and
maybe more people will finish all their matches by then.
Yeah, no, we'll have more to talk about in terms of the standings, and we're going to be interviewing the creator of Jump next week, Troy Beastie. So stay tuned for that.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Good night, and good night, everyone at home.
Yeah. Good night, Tom.
Good night, Cal. Wait, wrong thing. Okay. All right, bye, guys.